So years ago, I built a small Angular and Firebase powered app for incident triage at work. And hosted in Firebase, I just sort of never knew how to evolve the app. So I've now rebuilt it to be a ColdFusion and MySQL app, which kind of gives me a path forward for some further evolution and experimentation. And I just want to give a quick run through of how it works because it's no longer a single page application, it's a multi-page application. So here's my incidentcommander.com. You would come in and start a new incident. At this point, you would give some sort of a description of the incident. For example, users cannot log into the app, and we're going to say that's a P2 high, but not necessarily a P1 critical, and we would start this. The Incident Commander interface basically has three main pages. It has the setting pages, which is the information that we just added about the description, but it also gives you a place to enter a video conferencing URL, a support ticket URL, maybe linking back to Zendesk, the ownership, so which team is maybe perhaps responsible for investigating and or remediating the incident and or following through with the QAI, the quality assurance tickets. And of course you can change it. So maybe we want to change this back to critical here. The second page, which is really where the incident commander, the IC, will live. This is where you can enter updates. So we can provide updates about the investigation. We're either investigating, it's identified, we're monitoring, or resolved. So let's just say the API tokens have expired. Oh no. And of course, this allows for some light markdown to be used. It also can do things like have paragraphs. And you can upload a screenshot. So let's, for example, grab a little logs message here, and we can upload that. And if you scroll down here, you can see that we have our message here. We have our little screenshot. It's just small here because this is for the IC. The third page is this shareable timeline, and this is where other people can come to passively participate in the investigation. So they can get the overview here, and they can get the list of timelines here with the screenshots. Now, I have a kind of fleshed out version of this, so I'm just going to jump over to it. And you can see here, if we go into the timeline, it's just a further explored incident. We have some screenshots of graphs and some logs and some metrics. And one thing that you'll notice here in the status updates is below the status update intake form, there is a Slack message. And basically what I've done is try to take the recent updates and some overview information and serialize it into a Slack friendly message. So we can come here and copy it. And if we jump over into Slack and we paste this in, Slack doesn't apply the formatting automatically, but if you hit Control or Command Shift F, probably Control Shift F on Windows, you'll see that the formatting has now been applied. And if we hit that, this is basically a way to keep the rest of your team abreast of what is going on in the investigation. It has a link to the video triage URL if you have one. It has a link back to that shareable timeline, which we were just looking at. And it also includes the last three messages that you've entered as the incident commander. These messages are stripped of their formatting for the most part, and they're truncated to something like 500 characters. But the idea is just to give you a way to quickly keep everyone up to date on what's going on in the incident. And yeah, so again, this is just more of a thought experiment than anything else. I felt like when this was existing in Firebase, I felt very limited in what I could do and how I could move the application forward. And now that it's fully contained within my domain, I can start to experiment and try out some new ideas, like these uploading of screenshots, which I could never figure out, or I was never motivated enough to figure out how to do in Firebase. And of course, you can come in here and you can export your data. This will actually embed those screenshots as a base64 encoded data URIs, and it'll give you a whole JSON payload of your incident. And then at any time, you can come in and delete your incident if you no longer want it to exist in someone else's server. So just a fun thing to do. I'm building this out in the open, so you can actually go to GitHub and look at this code. I have a link in the blog post, and it's built in ColdFusion, Adobe ColdFusion, and MySQL, and it uses Alpine.js and Parcel as the bundler. And it's fairly simple. It's fairly straightforward. There's really not a whole lot going on, and it's just fun to keep the brain sharp. Anyway, happy Monday.